there's only one group of people who's listed in the Constitution as 3/5 of a human being. If we look at the whole history of this country and say, well, many people are saying, why focus just on black lives? Why focus just on the black experience? Why are we focusing on this specifically now? There's so many problems in America. And it's true, there's a lot of problems in America. And really, there's nobody that isn't experiencing some level of difficulty with this profoundly unhealthy society and system that we live under. All living human hearts are experiencing some level of difficulty. And so, but why focus on this? The reality is that America was formed not like other countries. America's different. Other countries, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but Germany, Poland, Greece, they became nation states, but these are areas where there's been long history of people living together. So, the Third Reich in Germany, for example, was just one period in Germany's history. But the Germanic tribes existed long before them. The experience, and it was a long experience that people in Ireland, for example, had with the British. It was a long chapter, but it was a chapter in their life. The Celtic tribes were here long before that, and they'll survive. America's a different story. America is a group of people who came from other places and took the land from other people. They came to a part of the world that was not native to them. They came to a part of the world where they didn't have an identity. They didn't have a group history. And they took this land by force, and with the use of technology, and with the use of all of the sciences, and with the use of disease, for example, of guns, putting intoxicants in the hands of people, and language techniques, business techniques to trick people out of what is land that they were living on, were cultivating, had a relationship with. The First Nations of this country had a long relationships with the land, with the natural environment. So, all of the business difficulties, the financial difficulties, the environmental difficulties that we're all suffering, all of this relates to the formation of this society. And then people were taken from West Africa and from Africa and brought to this country against their will. And a system was put in place, a legal system, to identify people with black skin color, with dark skin color, as a slave class. This didn't happen before. Yes, there was slavery in other parts of the world, but it wasn't racialized slavery. So, we have in our Constitution, so in the formation before the Constitution is being written, and in the Constitution is written that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. I'm sorry, that's in the Declaration of Independence. Among them, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That was written by people who were at that time owning slaves and were taking land from First Nations people, from the first peoples of this land. And then they wrote into the Constitution, not that all people of color are not the poor, that black people are 3/5 of a human being. And why were they even added to the Constitution at all? To acknowledge some level of humanity? No. So that the southern states could have more voting power, could use those enslaved Africans as a voting bloc to command more power in the voting. And then a civil war was fought. And the Civil War, the war that almost tore this nation apart, was about black slavery and white mastership, white slave master status. And, and then Plessy versus Board of Education, Brown versus Board of Education, what were called race riots in this country. The greatest public intellectual of American history, in my opinion, W.E.B. Du Bois. He said, what is the challenge of the 20th century? The race problem. And so this is who our country is.